100% it was a case of if I can't have him, no one will. But her behavior when she was being interrogated or questioned in that room is, I've never seen anything like it. She would fake cry, but then they would leave the room and she would start singing and dancing. She was singing, I did it, I can't believe I did it. Truly disgusting behavior. Shayna Hubers grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. She lived there with her mom and dad. She was a really outgoing girl. She had a massive personality, definitely loved to be the center of attention. Apart from that, she was just a really smart girl. All throughout her schooling, she excelled in every subject. She went on to attend the University of Kentucky. Shayna would go on to study psychology. It was in March of 2011. She was 19 years old when she met Ryan Poston. Ryan was 29 years old. He was a family guy through and through. He had a really close relationship with his mom and his dad, and he kept that relationship when his parents got divorced. He was also really close to his 3 sisters, and when his mom remarried, he also built a really close relationship with his stepdad. Ryan graduated college, he went to law school, and at the time of the story, he was a really successful attorney. Very smart guy. When Ryan and Shayna first met, they hit it off. They started spending a lot of time with each other, but Shayna fell first. She fell first, and she fell hard. Shayna was 100% more into it than Ryan was. When they met, Ryan had just gotten out of a relationship, so he wanted to take things slow. But I don't think Shayna understood, could comprehend what slow and chilled out meant, because she was the complete opposite. She went full force into the relationship. When they met, she told all of her friends and family that she met her future husband, and she quickly became obsessed with Ryan. The obsession was not healthy, mainly because Ryan did not feel as strongly towards her as she did towards him. And Shayna also had jealousy issues big time. Specifically, she was really jealous of Ryan's ex, and she would make sure that people knew that she was jealous of the ex. She had pictures of her saved on her phone, and she would pull them up to complete strangers and show them the picture and say, who do you think is prettier, me or her? She would blow up Ryan's phone all the time. She was texting 24/7, even at times when Ryan was not texting back. And it quickly became toxic, which isn't shocking because she had really strong feelings. She was completely and utterly obsessed with the guy, and he did not feel the same way back. They would constantly break up. They were on and off all the time. And by the spring of 2012, Ryan had just opened up his own law firm, which meant he was extra busy. And Shayna was getting closer to graduating, but Ryan being busy meant that he could not pay as much attention to Shayna as he once was. And Shayna didn't like that. Apart from that, they lived 80 miles away from each other, so they were kind of doing long distance-ish. And at this point, they were on a break, and Ryan wanted to see other people, but Shayna just refused to let that happen. She would call him every hour of every day using different phone numbers to make sure that he picked up the phone. She would show up randomly at his law firm demanding to talk to him, and she would spend hours trying to figure out his passwords to social media so she could log on and make sure that he was not talking to any other girls. And her behavior basically would just escalate. She was pretty much on her knees begging for Ryan to date her. And Ryan sometimes would agree, but he would tell Shayna, the only reason that I'm dating you is because you're begging me to, and out of pity, I feel bad, so I'm agreeing to be with you. Shayna was okay with that. It was no secret that he didn't really want to be with her, and Shayna just didn't care. Their relationship got progressively worse. It was getting concerning and alarming, and Ryan would tell his family and friends that he didn't want to be with Shayna anymore. He didn't know what to do because he would try and break up with Shayna, and Shayna would just say no. You're not breaking up with me. Shayna's behavior got so bad to a point Ryan actually told his friends and family that it was getting to be restraining order behavior. By the fall of 2012, Shayna had graduated college. She stayed in school to get her master's, and Ryan was still really busy with his law firm. He was also in a lawsuit that was taking up a lot of his time. And at this point, they were together, I guess. But again, the relationship was really toxic, and Shayna started making jokes to her friends that she wanted to kill Ryan because he didn't want to be with her. She would get angry that he did not give her enough attention, and she would joke to her friends that she wanted to end his life because of it, which not a thing to joke about. If someone tells you those jokes, we have learned to not take them lightly. The night of October 12th, 2012, Ryan had a date planned with a different girl. It's highly believed that the night prior, Ryan had cut things off completely with Shayna. He was over it. He wanted out. He wanted to move on, go on dates with other girls, and he had planned a date with a girl to start fresh. And Ryan did not tell Shayna about this date, but we think that Shayna definitely knew because she had logged onto his social media accounts, and there was records that Shayna had looked up this girl. She was stalking the girl. She knew about the date. That night, Ryan got home from work. He was getting ready to leave for his date when Shayna showed up unannounced. And at 9 p.m. that evening, police receive a 911 call from Shayna Hubers. In the call, Shayna can be heard saying, quote, "Ma'am, I killed my boyfriend in self-defense. I'm standing about 10 feet away from his dead body," end quote. Shayna's story was that they got in an argument. Ryan physically hurt her, kicked her out of the apartment, and when she came back to get her things, Ryan reached down, grabbed a weapon, and at Shayna. When police arrived at the scene of the crime, Ryan Poston was pronounced dead at the scene. He had been shot 6 times. Shayna got arrested and taken into the station for questioning, and it was her interview that got me interested in this case because her behavior during it is actually unbelievable. She's being questioned, and Shayna says that she wants an attorney. She asks for a lawyer. The investigator says, "Okay, no problem. I'm not going to ask you any questions until your lawyer is present." But Shayna would not shut up. She started talking and did not stop for 3 hours, even though she was not being asked anything at all. The videos of her seemed like she was full of energy. She started telling the entire story to investigators. She was saying, "Yeah, it was crazy. I was so out of it. And then I killed him and I called 911 and I was like, yeah, it's in self-defense, but I killed him. Can you please come to the scene of the crime?" Shayna also said that she killed him in self-defense and was just watching him when he was laying, twitching, and making noises, which are quotes from her. She said, quote, "I knew he was going to die a very slow and painful death." She explained that she him multiple times to make sure that he was dead and says, quote, "I probably should have left it there, but I knew he was either going to die or have a very deformed face." She then says, quote, "He's very vain and wants to get a nose job. He's just that kind of person, and I shot him right here. I gave him the nose job that he wanted," end quote. She is saying everything, and not only that, she would randomly throw out compliments to the investigators, saying that he had really nice teeth. She was asking if she went to jail, if she could keep her phone in jail. She was asking if she did go to jail, if she could shower there, or if she would just, quote, "get really smelly," acting bizarre. She was talking for so long and so much that investigators had to take shifts. Basically, they would switch out the person that was sitting inside of there with her because she was talking for so long. And when one of them would get up to leave, she would start crying, but as soon as they stepped out of the room, she would stop crying. Like, she was acting for sure. One second she was bawling, and the next second when she was alone, she would have a blank expression on her face. Also, this was all on camera. Shayna was making eye contact with the camera, so it wasn't like she didn't know that she was being recorded. It makes zero sense. Her behavior during that, it wasn't a questioning. Her behavior just being in that room made the suspicion against her just grow and grow. Apart from that, her story was not making any sense. She would say that certain things happened, but taking a look at the crime scene and at the evidence, it was obvious that what she said happened clearly did not. When she was in the room as well, alone, when she was left alone, she would start singing and dancing, literally walking around there dancing and singing, just crazy. Shayna was charged with murder and she was held on a $5 million bail. She was in custody until her trial that started April 13th of 2015. Shayna entered a plea of not guilty, but the evidence tore her apart, painting the obvious story that Ryan's murder was not in self-defense. She was found guilty and sentenced to 40 years, but a year later, her conviction was overturned because someone in the jury was found to be a convicted criminal, making her trial not valid anymore. And her second trial did not start until January 16th, 2018. At her second trial, Shayna took the stand herself, not helping her case at all, actually making it probably 10 times worse. After her second trial, she was found guilty of murder again, sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. I first heard about this case a while ago, and I've had the picture of Shayna. You need to look up the videos of her in that interview room because it's actually like, I have really never seen anything like it. It's bizarre. It's cold. It's calculated. She knew what she did. It was not self-defense, and that was clear from the start.